Hello everybody, I'm Erica, I'm the granny of the group, and I've been involved with SOFT for quite a lot of years. I'm a bereaved mum, a head teacher of a special school, and then moved into working in the children's hospice movement, and have done a lot of research. Now still involved in the university sector with research into families with children with a complex, a child with complex needs. So that's a little bit about me. But the important thing is our lovely people here on the table, real people, well not on the table, at the table. No dancing on the table. You have your own stories to tell, and those of you who've been at SOFT Family Days before, where I've been to either speaking or have facilitated things, know that I have a great belief in the fact that everybody has a story to tell. And the telling of those stories is so important. And as professionals, we need to really listen to those stories and incorporate them into our practice, whatever our profession is, whatever our role is, if it's a volunteer, a support worker, or indeed a professional, we need to actually incorporate those stories. So, without further ado, I'm going to pick on one of them to introduce themselves, and whichever end I start, they're going to say I'm picking on them. So I'm going to go right down to the end and Shona.
I saw that one coming.
Because I know your name, but be careful, Sarah, because I also know your name. So, would you like to tell us a little bit, Shona, about your experience of being an adult sibling of your brother Lewis, please?
Well, it's a bit of a broad question, really. Well, my perspective of Lewis, I've never known any different. I am the youngest child. He's 21, I'm 17, so I've never known anything different, really. Sorry. My earliest memories, because he is a bit older than me, I remember when things were first starting to really get difficult, when Mum and Dad knew that something was up, and while they knew it was Trisomy 18, they didn't quite know what that meant. And I remember they came to SOFT to hear, and they were expecting to find out what was going on, and I think that's why a lot of us here today. Lewis is special. I think we all know they're special. They're all special. And yeah, come back to me, please.
Tell us a little bit, Shona, about what Lewis is doing now, because I think this is a success story.
Definitely. Well, Lewis, he's gone to Hereward College in Coventry, if anyone knows that. And he doesn't want to continue there, but that's okay because he wants to start getting a job. So he's going to go work at the local airfield making up bits for aeroplanes, which, he seems happy with it, and if he doesn't like it, that's okay because he can just choose something else. He's very bright, he's incredibly dry with his humour, he's incredibly blunt, and yeah, it's come to a few funny situations. But, yeah.
It's great, and this, I don't know whether the word is aeronautics or whatever it is, but it's in the blood of the family because Dad is a pilot, and apparently there is a great interest in aircraft and airfields and aeronautics and engineering, whatever one calls that, of aircraft. So it's lovely that Lewis is actually has found his niche in this area, and I think that what Shona shared with me earlier on was his experience at college, and for those young people with trisomy who survive, who go on and make a transition into further education. That is an incredible achievement, but also the system needs to support them, and Shona was saying that, you know, this has had its problems, hasn't it? But he is sufficiently empowered to make his own decision and say, actually, I've been there for a year, enough's enough, and to move on now somewhere else. So that's absolutely lovely, and we'll come back to you again, Shona, and thank you. Sarah, you're next.
Okay, so my experience is a bit different. Obviously, I'm not here as a sibling of a child with trisomy. I am a mum of a child with low-level mosaic trisomy 18. So, and my daughter Amelia's just had her 3rd birthday. I guess I can give some observations of sort of the impact on my family, and you know that we've got another child who's 5 years old, and sort of the impact on our family. And I would say our experience isn't conventional in that our daughter she's very healthy. We haven't had a lot of the challenges a lot of families here speak of. I think if we hadn't had the prenatal tests and everything, we'd be very much unaware. I don't think we'd be having, the conversations we're having here today, in fairness. We'd probably just think, typical toddler and, very boisterous, very lively, very strong-willed, ravenous appetite. I quite often call her a little savage, so I think she's very excited to be starting preschool in a couple of months. Just force of nature, and our experience is very much that she's an addition to our family. She's a little girl first and foremost, with her own unique qualities, and a child first and foremost within our family. And I think, when I was looking through the topics and the discussion for today, is that's the message I'd want everyone to know, is that, a child with trisomy is a child first and foremost, and an individual. And I don't think a diagnosis can entirely predict the path, although obviously there is a spectrum, and obviously there's characteristics and there's risks associated, and there's obviously very serious health complications associated. Every single path will be unique, and every single circumstance will be unique.
Thank you so much. I think that the resounding message there is the uniqueness of every child, and it's so interesting that many people talk about the condition rather than the child. And I used to say, when I was teaching students, I used to say to them, if you ever talk about a trisomy child, or you ever talk about a Down's child, don't expect a good mark for your assignment, because first and foremost you're talking about the child, and you're talking about the condition or the diagnosis next. And so I think that message is absolutely lovely. And Sarah, thank you. We'll come back to you again. And having met Amelia last night, and having met Logan this morning, typical sibling rivalry. Just a happy, as Sarah says, very, very energetic little girl with a very, very energetic brother. But thank you. And I don't know these two young ladies sitting next to me who are absolutely terrified. But I'm sure that they won't be, and I'll ask them to introduce themselves and to talk about their experience. So tell us exactly what you'd like to, tell us your names, and then tell us what you'd like to know. Bit of sibling rivalry here. Who's first?
Okay, I'm Maeve. And
I'm Blorna.
And we're obviously sisters to Dara. We're her... Oh, she's running away. We're her older sisters, two oldest. Dara is really she's like a ray of sunshine. She's really energetic. She's always happy all the time. She's also quite feisty, especially with her brother, who's also older. So she's the youngest. She has it the hardest, I'd say. She's very, very feisty. She won't take anything from anyone. Like, if someone has a go at her, she'll definitely go back at them. Right, your turn.
With me, like, I'm her least favourite. So, she's mental, and in a good way at least. So yeah, not long ago, she got this toy right, and ever since she got the toy, which I'm scared of, like it's an octopus, and she comes down like any random part of the day, she gets it and yells at me, screaming tentacles that I hate, and then she like grabs me, put me off the sofa like many times, and put the thing on my face. So yeah.
It sounds like there's a lot of activity in this family. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's been like with your own friends, and whether when you've had your friends round, whether they ask questions about your sister, or anything that's happened at school that might be to do with the fact that you have a sister with trisomy?
I don't do anything about that, because like I see her as like a sibling, not like someone who has a disability.
Yeah.
So like.
Okay.
So yeah, that's.
So it's just been part and parcel of your lives.
Yeah.
And you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't, if you didn't know her, you wouldn't be able to tell from her appearance that she had a disability, but obviously if they saw like her scar from her surgery, then I'd say, oh yeah, she had a heart surgery, but it's not anything that really affects, like you wouldn't be able to see it, so it wouldn't really affect you knowing or anything like that.
Yeah, I think also when she was younger, like you might remember this, that like she shows off like a scar. Like she's proud like who she is.
Some people pay for scars. Okay, let's just think a little bit about what would you want, all of you, if you just think for a moment about what would it be that you would say that you really wanted other people to know about trisomy? What's your message about trisomy?
It's not all sunshine and roses. It's not. You hear a lot here about how everything is good, and there are definitely its moments, and I do think it's incredibly important to focus on the positives. Because if you look at a child with a disability and go, oh, they're never going to walk, they're never going to do this, they're never going to do that, you're going to think, well, what's the point? And it is incredibly important to focus on the positives, I get that, but Lewis, it's held to get him into education, it's held to get him to doing certain things. He's got huge confidence issues that every day I've tried to him and say, you can do this, you've got to do this. And just because he's overheard people talking to him in the room saying, oh, he's never going to do that, you know, he says he wants to learn to drive, but he thinks he's never going to do it. And that's just not true. We got him to the point where he thinks he'll drive an automatic, but he's more than capable of doing a manual. It's all that mental block. It's not all sunshine and roses. As a sibling, I'm going to admit, me and my brother, we've never been the most nice to him. We haven't always. And yes, part of it is sibling rivalry. But something I'd say to any sibling here is try not to be too mean to them, because that's the thing, you always find it with students, that's the wrong word, with siblings or people that are different, they get ostracised, they get pointed out, they get, discriminated against. They take that from other people, they don't need that from you as well. So it is always going to be difficult. It's incredibly difficult being a sister to him. I haven't always had the most attention as a kid, I've always had to give up. I've had to give up things for Lewis as well. I often have to leave college early to go home and help Mum with things. I've had to help out with paperwork. I've had to be a bit of an adult a bit quicker. But I'd do it all over again for him. I love him to bits. But it's not all sunshine and roses. you have to learn to cope, and it is hard. You do it, and you love to do it because you love them, but it's not all sunshine and roses, and you do need to look out for your siblings, no matter how hard it is.
Shona, I want to come up and give you a hug.
No.
Thank you. Sarah.
I just want to say I think that was really powerful, and I just think that there's some really strong messages there about the amount of love, but also being honest about the challenges as well. But yeah, I just want to say I think that every situation is so unique, and what I'm really mindful of is with my circumstance, I'm really aware there's a lot of uncertainties and that you can't predict the future. But I'm also really mindful that in life you can't predict the future. And I think within that there is some anxiety and some uncertainty, but within that also can lie some hope. And that life, I guess, without sounding too cheesy or Ronan Keating, life is a roller coaster.
Thank you. Right, which one of you is going to speak first?
Rock, paper, scissors.
You can go first.
Any little message? What would you like other people to know about what it's like to be a sister?
I feel like it's not like you can't define someone because of their disability. Like, she's like a healthy, she's a healthy child. Like when we said, you cannot tell if she has it unless you see it heart, you see the surgery and the scar. So I don't know. So
for you, it's your sister is just so much part of your family that you're able to. You've just grown with that as a family. Yeah. What about you?
I feel like, because obviously everyone's disability, it's all unique to them. With Dara, because it hasn't affected her as much, I feel like it's not something I really think about, because she really is just the same as me or as Lorna, and there isn't really anything that would make her different from us, and she can do all the same things we can. It's not really something that I think about, to be honest, because it doesn't affect me in that way.
I think that you've brought a video with you, is that right? Is there a video? Somebody's brought a video?
Just got out of the room, so I trusted to touch them.
Okay.
Oh, it says it's playing.
Hi, I'm Dara, and I'm 8 years old. I go to King William School, and I love gymnastics. And I have 2 sisters, and 1 brother. So my sisters is May and Lorna, and then Logan is kind of older than me. But I go to the doctors because I had a heart condition. So I have to go sometimes for checkups.
Is that the end? Beautiful, beautiful picture. Where is this person? Where is Dara? Where is this queen of the show? We need to have her in here. We need her to take a bow. Give her a big clap when she comes in. I think that was the most lovely recording. That was the best we could ever have done. And thank you both as well, because she included you in what she said. I think there may be a bit of protest going on out there.
She's obviously too busy playing.
She's too busy playing. That's it. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. Hello. much for your story. It was absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming here, and thank you for telling your story, and thank you for bringing these two big sisters with you as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. You go back and play now. Isn't she gorgeous? Okay, is there time for one last question or not? Yeah. Okay, so this is the biggie. This is the biggie. No, it's okay. It's okay. What are your hopes for the future? So what do you hope for in the future with your brother or with your sister or with your child? What are those hopes?
Who wants to go first?
This is
You
Dom.
go first.
Okay. Well, I hope that Amelia goes on as she is, just being feisty and just healthy. And there's a little picture of her up there going for a walk with her brother Logan. With her slightly wild hair, because that's her obsession at the moment. Her and Logan like making their hair wild. So I'm hoping she continue a bit like how Dara is as well, just because to look at her, I think that's the part that is a bit surreal, is despite all of the diagnostics, prenatal and all the rest of it, is to look at her, she doesn't present as a child with trisomy at all. To just picture of health really, and I hope that she continues to thrive and that she continues to be her and grow and be herself.
My microphone has failed on me, so I'm using my teacher's voice now.
My hope for Lewis is a bit contradictory. I do want to achieve a sense of normalcy in my life because it's always been a bit hectic and different. You know, I've never always had the chance to have friends around because Lewis doesn't really like it when other people go in the house, which, I mean, I get, fair enough. But I also hope that things don't change. Like, we've had our differences in the past, Ryan, Lewis and I, we haven't always gone along, but we do now, and I hope that doesn't change. Like, and sometimes it's easy to forget because I was lucky with Lewis. I don't ever really remember a time where there was that case of will he live, will he die. It's always just been, he's there, he's all right. You know, I've never really had that stress. So, and it is easy to forget sometimes that, you know, he might have died and not everyone was as lucky as me. And I'm not always grateful for that, and, you know, and it sometimes hits me that whenever he gives Ryan a really stupid birthday card or something, you know, with Piglet in a bacon sandwich or something, you know. Genuine story. you know that, you know, if he didn't have, you know, I might have never seen that glorious birthday card if he hadn't made it, and that is something I'm grateful for. It is easy to forget sometimes that I am very lucky to have him, and while things are difficult and things are not always sunshines and roses and everything, everyone does need to know that it's not as easy as we all make it look or sound. It is something nice, and I hope things don't change. I hope we all stay together. I hope we're all close. I want to move into a nursing home for some ungodly reason with them. I'm going to regret that in 5 years, I promise, but you know. There you go.
Thanks, Shona. Okay, you've got any hopes for the future?
I think just like hope she's still like crazy in the future because like she's like, even though she can have some attitude, especially towards me. Yeah, I just like her like craziness and her funniness as well.
You sure?
Yeah, I agree. Even though it is annoying at sometimes, it really is like a big part of her character and her personality, and I hope that as she gets older, I hope she doesn't lose that part of her, because it really is like what makes her so happy and her personality so unique.
Thank you so much, all of you. The stories that we have shared with you here are the stories of a sibling or a baby who has lived, and we're very aware, very, very aware that there will be those of you in the room where that is not the case, but we will be chatting to you later on. There will be time for you as well, and I think it's important to recognise that, because these are the success stories that we've heard, but there are also other stories, and we need to listen to those and take those into account. But thank you so much, all of you, for sharing what you have. Thank you.
Do we get to go now?
You can go now.